This video is part of a series. Complete the previous videos in this playlist before you start this video. The complete playlist information, the material and the code file information is given in the video description below.
This session will work as a recap for Gen AI and AI agents. Also, I'll try to cover some of the important topics within LangChain. I'm going to cover LLM recap, LangChain recap, prompt engineering, a very quick recap, and then we will go to LangChain agents, a basic idea of agents, how do they work, how do we work with agents and tools, and we will also see traditional RAG and then agentic RAG. So some of these topics we have covered already in our previous courses, but by chance, if you're exclusively looking at this course only, this will help as a quick recap or some of the fundamentals that you must know before we jump on to agentic AI systems. First, what exactly is an LLM? LLM is one of the keyword that is used in this whole generative AI. It stands for large language model. And if you see the core functionality of any large language model, it is just a next word prediction or next word generating engine. For example, if you write a prompt, oh, what a lovely. Now this is the input. It will take this as input and it will predict what is the next best word. It will predict, oh, what a lovely car, what a lovely weather, what a lovely flower. Depending on your context, it will predict the next word, oh, what a lovely car. And then these will be taken as input, oh, what a lovely car, oh, what a lovely car, I would. All these will be taken as input. And what is the next word? Oh, what a lovely car, I would like. Oh, what a lovely car. I would like will be the input. Maybe the next best word is to, buy, one. Like that, it will keep on generating these words and then it will stop at a meaningful stopping point. That is what generative AI is all about. And at the core of it, in generative AI, you have these large language models that will generate the next item in the sequence. You can also call them as language models, but the reason why they are known as large language models is because the large amount of data is used in building them. Almost the whole internet of data that is used for building those models. While building those models, almost all the websites, all the scientific articles, all the blogs, all the social media posts, almost the whole internet of data is used. Large number of parameters. The models are very, very complex. Large number of parameters are used. You can say you can look at the complexity of the model by looking at the number of parameters. If you take any typical model, you may see 50 to 100 parameters. For example, if I'm building a model that will predict whether a customer will buy or not buy a product, if I'm building a model for credit scoring, which is like whether a customer is going to be a defaulter, that means a bad customer, or a non-defaulter or a good customer, for before giving a loan, I want to predict that. Typically, they have 50 to 100 parameters, but these large language models are 110 million, billions, or trillions of parameters are used. And when you're having these many complex models, definitely you need complex programming for computing. You need huge computing power. And what Chat GPT, they say that to build this Chat GPT, OpenAI has spent almost $100 million just for parallel computing. They require huge amount of computing. That is the reason why these are known as large language models, because of the large number of parameters, large number of data is used, complex models are used, large computations are involved. That is why these are known as large language models, and the results are wonderful. These large language models are able to generate code. These large language models are able to generate content. Even they are able to answer sophisticated Q&A. Nowadays, we have seen the examples of they are giving not only just the code, they're also able to generate the whole software itself. If we dig a little deep into large language models, almost every big company now have large language model. Facebook has Llama model. Your OpenAI has ChatGPT, or different models were there internally, GPT-4o, GPT-5. Google has a Gemini. Microsoft uses different models internally, and on top of it, there is a wrapper. So inside Copilot, there are multiple models. All of this started somewhere around 2020, 2021. Very recently, all these started coming up, surfacing only from 2022 onwards. Right now, the buzz is around OpenAI, Gemini, Microsoft's Copilot, and Anthropic Claude. If you go to this website called LM Arena, and then we would be able to see something called leaderboard. So if you go to LM Arena and then leaderboard, quick check probably. So you can see that on the leaderboard, GPT-5 High, this is the one that has the highest score as of now. And then you have Gemini 2.5 Pro and then Claude. So these are some of the best models available as of now. But if you see my slide, this is slightly outdated. At that time, O1 Preview, ChatGPT 4o, O1 Mini, Gemini, Grok, these are the top rated models. But if you see the current time, as of now, these are the models text based, these are the web development based, these are the vision based models, text to image models. So this is one good place where you can get an idea on what are the models that are kind of ranked top 1, 2, 3 as of today. Every now and then I come to this website and check which model is the one that suddenly enters this list. Sometimes what happens is there are some companies, they develop something, suddenly it appears here that is kind of beating everything on the leadership board. Deepseek is one of the open source model. The reason why everybody started talking about Deepseek was it is open source, but still it was giving as much good results as the other paid models like ChatGPT. Now, there are two ways to interact with large language models. One is just like a user, you will go to ChatGPT website, you write a question, you get the answer, this question, or you write a prompt, you get the answer. That is one way of using it, which anyway, most of you must be using it. The one that we will be interested is using it like a developer, using their API. That means I'm building a very large application. Inside that application, I am writing my own code. I'm doing everything. There are several teams that are working on it. Maybe probably in this place, I need help of large language model. I will send an input to a large language model. And then using that API, I will execute it and I will get the output. And I would like to populate this. So that is what I want to do. So using an API, so we are going to learn how do we use large language models using their APIs, how do we call them? Let us get into this. When you are interacting with large language models, you need to be little careful while you're working with large language models, since they are very powerful, you have to interact with them in a very structured, planned manner. What I mean by that is we have the habit of going to Google for every question that we get. Earlier, what we used to do was, let us suppose if I have a question, I go to Google and type something called search string. So you type the search string. Google is a search engine. It will look for all the websites that are matching, that may have possible related content to your search string. All these websites are suggested to you. Now, this method works very well when you're doing Google search. But interacting with large language models is not same as searching something on Google. Large language model is not a search engine. Large language model is a generation engine. It is generating the next word one by one, one by one, one by one. So your prompt is not same as your Google search string. The input to large language model is known as prompt, and a prompt inside your large language model like ChatGPT is not same as a Google search string. This is one major point that you have to make a note of. The prompt that you are giving, it cannot be a very short 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 words. It has to be very detailed. Consider the prompt is not merely just a query. It is a conversation with ChatGPT, or it is a lengthy description to ChatGPT so that it can generate and give you the right content that you are looking for. Instead of treating it like Google search, think of it as a robotic assistant. For example, if there's a robot that is sitting inside another room and I'm in this room, I cannot tell this robot, come to my room. Then it'll try to break this wall and come here. I have to say, stand up, walk towards the door, maybe 4 feet, they open the door and then take left, walk 10 feet, then take right, turn right, and then open the door, then come to me. So you have to give very, very detailed instructions so that the robot understands what exactly you're talking about. So what you must do is do not give very brief, very small queries when you're interacting with large language models. You need to structure your prompt. Meticulously designing this prompt is known as prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? It's a very simple concept. You have to make sure that in the prompt that you are giving, you are including the context, you are including intended tone, you are including the anticipated potential ambiguities you are kind of assuming beforehand and then trying to avoid them. Prompt engineering is simply designing the prompt. What is a typical standard method that people do? Just like the way that I interact in Google, I just go to ChatGPT and I will ask a vague question directly. This is known as zero shot prompting. A shot means example. Zero shot means zero examples. You did not really give anything to ChatGPT apart from this question. Asking the model directly without any examples or any structure, usually you will get an answer, no doubt about it. But most often, this is a very lengthy generic output that you will get. Some of the zero shot examples are what is NLP, how to learn generative AI. Give me some examples of Python. How do you earn money in stock market? What is a good diet plan? Write a deadline extension mail to my client. Write a poem on my teacher. Now, the problem with them is, let's say if you say explain NLP, ChatGPT doesn't know whether you're a beginner or an expert. If you say I want to learn some of the basic examples of Python, ChatGPT doesn't know whether you're a developer or a data scientist. If you ask how to earn money in stock market, it's a very generic request, whether you are a long-term investor, short-term investor, ChatGPT doesn't know. What is a good diet plan? A good diet plan depends on gender, location, age, maybe several other factors. A good diet plan for male may not be a good diet plan for female. A very good diet plan for somebody of 25 may be a very bad diet plan for somebody of age 55. So you cannot simply ask, give me a good diet plan. You have to give the context. So that is the problem with zero shot prompting. If you don't give any examples, the context, the examples or specific tone is missing. Still you will get the answer, but it'll be a quite broad, unspecific, generic, repetitive output is what you will get. In many cases, the exact output that we are looking for, we may not get that. So how do you improve over zero shot prompting? To improve it over the zero shot prompting, what you can do is you can follow this structure. You can follow your own shortcuts, but you can consider this as one of the way. You make sure that you are including the role. You are including some examples. That means you are giving a character to ChatGPT. Put yourself in the shoes of a Python developer. Then answer this question. Put yourself in the shoes of a nutritionist. Imagine yourself you're a yoga instructor. Then answer this question. Imagine you are a experienced investment banker. Then answer this question. So try to give a role and try to give some examples. Tell ChatGPT what kind of answer that you're looking for. What are the inclusions? What are the exclusions? If ChatGPT is giving you an output and some of those you are not interested in, for example, you asked for a diet plan. If you are from US, or if let us suppose if you are from India and ChatGPT is giving a diet plan which includes some of the items that are not found in India, maybe it is saying you have to use avocado or some of the other diet inclusions which are not available in India very in every place. In that case, you can ask it to be inclusive of few of the items, excluding some of the items. You can give the domain and context. You can always ask, I'm looking for some of these examples. I'm a beginner, maybe I'm intermediate, or I'm an expert level. This is what I'm looking for. Exact context. You may have to mention the background and the setup and the context. So try to spend some time in explaining the context. You can always ask ChatGPT to display the output in certain format. Always ask, give me in bullet point format. You can ask, give me in 2 paragraphs, give me in 2 pages, give me the output like a table. And then after giving all this, if you have got the output, and if you're not satisfied with the output, the tendency is that people tend to regenerate. Instead of regenerating, you can say, out of this output, these 3 points are good, these 2 points are not good. Maybe iteratively, you can tell ChatGPT that in the above output, these are good, these are not good. So I'm looking for something like this. So iteratively, maybe try to get your output in the third or fourth or fifth iteration, then you may get a better output. So when you are interacting with large language models, try to do prompt engineering, which means you're trying to include a particular role, some examples, some domain, display, iterations. My name is Venkat Reddy. An easy way to remember this is REDDI is a way that I generally suggest people to remember. R stands for role, E stands for examples, D stands for domain, D stands for display, I stands for iterations. Let me give you a couple of examples related to prompt engineering. For example, if the requirement is write a short blog post about why time management is important, then you have to use this framework REDDI. You give it a role. Maybe tell ChatGPT that imagine yourself, you're a professional blog writer. Imagine yourself, you're a neuroscientist. Imagine yourself, you are a social media content creator. And then try to give some examples. Maybe if you have some of the links, try to write the blog like this or something like that, or you can ignore that and give the domain and context. Then you tell that, okay, imagine you are a time management expert, or imagine you're a blog writer. I would like to generate a blog post on time management and personality development. And then D stands for display. Ask ChatGPT to give you 50 lines or 4 paragraphs, or maybe 3 paragraphs, each with 10 lines, or maybe one large paragraph with maybe 35 lines. So try to give exact display and then run it for 2, 3 iterations and until you get the best one. That is the first exercise. For example, simulate a data science mock interview for practice. Imagine you are a Python developer, or imagine you're a data scientist with 15 years of experience. And then examples, maybe you try to give me medium, easy, hard questions, 3 medium questions, 3 easy questions, and then 4 hard questions. And then what is the domain? You ask me questions related to data science, maybe for a 4 to 5 years experienced candidate, or maybe if your years of experience, if you're a fresher, for a fresher, if you're 10 years experience, for a 10 years experience candidate. And then finally display, give me 10 questions, give me 15 questions in tabular format, in MCQ format, in paragraph or something. Then do it for 2, 3 times until you get the best one. So that is what prompt engineering is all about. Prompt engineering is meticulously designing a prompt so that large language model understands what is your requirement. I have given you these aspects: role, examples, domain, display, iterations. You can add other aspects as well. One of the best idea that worked for me, you can also apply, is after writing your prompt, you give the whole of your prompt and then finally add one line. This has really improved my overall interaction with large language model. You can add a line: if you don't have clarity, if you have any questions, ask me. Questions first, you ask me before you generate any output. Ask me some questions to clarify my requirement. That means you are asking ChatGPT. After giving a prompt, you add this extra line that you ask me questions before you generate the output. So ChatGPT, to understand exactly, so what it will do is it will give its assumptions. This is what I think that you are looking for. Is that true? Then you will get an idea how ChatGPT is thinking, the thought process behind the generation of the output. You will get to know that you can correct it, and this will significantly improve your output quality. That is what prompt engineering is. Again, I'm quickly going through all these topics. In reality, in the generative AI course, we have covered them very much in depth. I have given the link for generative AI course below. You can click on that link, or you can always go to our website and check for that particular course for in-depth discussion of this. When generative AI came into the picture, one of the most commonly used framework was LangChain framework. What exactly is a framework? In software development, a framework is essentially a kind of toolbox or a platform. It provides you with a lot of packages, a lot of pre-written codes, a lot of pre-written modules, so that whenever you are developing anything, you don't need to write or develop everything from scratch. You can use pre-written modules and you can accelerate your overall project. You can accelerate your overall software development very quickly. So somebody has seen the pain points. They have already given the pre-written codes. All that we need to do is take them and then try to modify, use them. For example, if I ask you to create a small toy car, I want you to create a toy car. If you do not have any framework, you will be creating everything from scratch. Then you have so many items which you need to take care of, which may take a lot of time. But if I want you to create a toy car, but if I give you a framework, that means I have given you wheels, already pre-built wheels. I have given you pre-built doors. I have given you pre-built structure. I have given you, let us suppose, 30 elements, and I want you to prepare a toy car. By making small modifications, you can prepare the toy car much, much faster than compared to from beginning. So toy car from scratch is the regular development. But a framework is all these elements put together. Something similar to that, when you want to develop anything in large language models, anything related to large language models, you require a framework. One such framework is LangChain. There are already existing frameworks for software development. For web development, you have Angular framework or React framework or Django framework or Flask framework, where already pre-written code is there. Or let us suppose if you are working with any mobile applications, Flutter is a framework. So in web development, React, Angular, Django framework. For mobile applications, Flutter is a framework, React Native. Basically, these are all the frameworks which are collection of multiple modules and packages that will make your whole software development much, much faster. LangChain is a framework for building applications related to large language model. It facilitates combining LLMs with various data sources. So LangChain will have so many pre-built modules that will make your life much, much easier. So if you are developing anything related to LLMs, you must use LangChain. So let us quickly see some of the example code related to LangChain. This is the code file. I will be sharing this code file in the materials. You can always refer to this. First, we will install all the packages. Now, for most of this course, we will be using OpenAI. I request you to purchase OpenAI API key. So if you type OpenAI API key, create OpenAI API key platform.openai.com. So if you log in, what they will ask you to do is they ask you to purchase a particular plan. I think it will cost you $20. Remember, ChatGPT Plus subscription is not same as this one. If you have a ChatGPT Plus subscription, that will be useful to do something extra rather than free ChatGPT. But here again, you have to separately buy another API key, which will cost another $20 or something, but it's all worth maybe for 2-3 years you can buy. So I think for you to create a new API key, they may ask you to purchase. There are some usage limits, etc., etc. You can create a new API key and then you can just say my text key and then you give all the options and then you can get this API secret key. Once you have that key, you can come back here and then OpenAI API key, you can put your own API key here. Cohere is another large language model, an alternative to OpenAI. If somebody is not able to afford OpenAI API key, which I think you should spend, if you're spending time in learning this, then you must buy that. Maybe you buy it for 1 month, that is sufficient. But I think within $5 we can use it for almost like 1 year. But at least if you are using it for 1 month, that should be sufficient. You buy something like $20 credits and then try to use this OpenAI API key, fill it here, or you can use a free version of the key, which is Cohere. So you have to go to Cohere website and then try to create a login, and then you go to API key, create an API key from Cohere, and then try to paste it here. Usually it is not a good idea to paste your API key here. For example, if I would have pasted my key, everybody in the classroom would have seen it. A better way to do that is you have this secrets option. You click on that secret and then you can add a secret. That means whatever is OpenAI API key, that will be the name of it, OpenAI API key, exactly all these uppercase. And then let's say if I say add new one. So here I will say OpenAI API key, and whatever is my key, I'll be keeping it here. So that means it is available in this environment. The code file will be able to access it, but nobody will be able to have a look at it. So user data get OpenAI API key. This is the key that I will be pasting it here, my key. But right now I'm deleting it because already I have pasted my OpenAI API key. If somebody clicks on it, then they'll be able to have a look at it. Similarly, Cohere API key, this is my Cohere API key. So once you have installed all the packages, once you have given the keys, you have to grant permission. So you are giving permission for this particular collab file to utilize these keys. Now let us see how do we work with LLMs. As I told you earlier, I will be sharing this file with you. As of now, let me just write the code and explain. From LangChain framework, from LangChain.llms, import from LangChain.LLMs import OpenAI. Then let me define my LLM is equal to OpenAI. And then let us suppose I want LLM to generate something like I want LLM dot invoke. Invoke is the command that you have to write. LLM dot invoke. Write a 4-line poem on AI agents. And then I want to save this in something called result. Now let me print result. You can see that behind the scenes in Colab, Gemini is working, so which is helping me to automatically fill this code. So it is giving some deprecation warning that is still fine. Result is LLM.invoke and then result, it is trying to give me an error. Let us try to fix this error. Result equal to LLM.invoke. Did I write anything? So let me re-execute this. So when I executed this, I got this error. It says that invalid API key. That means the key that I have provided earlier, I have filled this key. Now you see that you have green toggle bar or the blue toggle bar. It means that we have given access for this particular code file to access this. But right now I got an error. Your key is wrong. What I'll do is quickly, I will go back to my resources. Somewhere I have saved this key. This was an old key which is not working right now. So what I'll do is I will go and get my key and then update it here. So let me copy my key and then I'll go here. I will paste my key. So first I will have a look at it. I will try to paste this new key. And then if I try to execute, re-execute, so I'll come back here. I will try to rerun this so that the key is updated and then let me re-execute it. Now this is working perfectly fine because I have updated my key. So something wrong that has happened was I did not really give the key accurately. But if you want to work with a free LLM like Cohere, you write from langchain.llms, import Cohere, and then my LLM right now will be Cohere. My result is write a 4-line poem on AI agents. Let us see the result. Intelligent agents so precise that exert their powerness. So if you have seen this LLM arena earlier, the website that we have seen, you did not really see Cohere at the top 10 or somewhere. I think the rank of Cohere is somewhere around 40 or 50 like that. Here is the one 45 or maybe slightly higher. But still it is fine. We are getting a free version of it. You can use any other free version of LLM. Right now, I generally suggest OpenAI, which is non-free, or Cohere. So that is how you make a call to LLM. You call the API and give the input as a prompt. You get the output.
Continue with the next video in the playlist. We are covering everything step by step. If you have any questions or the comments, please post them in the comments window below.